I won't leave you.
She was beaten, bleeding, and left alone in the desert. No one came to help until a cowboy whispered, "I won't leave you." What happened next changed both their lives forever. The wind howled like a warning across the empty desert road, dragging dust through the cracked asphalt, as if the earth itself wanted to hide what had just happened. She lay there, bleeding into the sand, her breath shallow, her vision fading into darkness. Her name was Emily Carter, once a bright soul who believed in kindness, who trusted promises whispered in warm kitchens and moonlit nights. But tonight, trust had turned into betrayal. The man she loved had left her shattered, beaten, and abandoned on a road no one traveled anymore. Her body trembled, not just from pain but from the cold realization that no one was coming. She tried to crawl, dragging her bruised arms through gravel, whispering, "Pleases someone?" But the desert gave no answer. The sky above her was filled with indifferent stars, shining as if nothing had happened. Cars passed miles away, their distant hum mocking her silence. Tears mixed with blood as she remembered the last words he'd said, words meant to erase her existence. "No one cares about you." The world blurred. She wanted to believe him because believing hurt less than hoping. Then she heard something, hoofbeats, slow, steady, closer. A shadow moved against the pale moonlight, a man on horseback, his silhouette tall and still like an old western ghost wandering through time. He stopped when he saw her. The cowboy dismounted without hesitation, kneeling beside her, his rough hands trembling as he saw her injuries. His voice was deep, gentle, and certain. "You're not dying tonight," he whispered. "I won't leave you." Those words, spoken with quiet strength, were the first kindness she'd heard in hours. His name was Caleb Dawson, a rancher who lived miles away from any town, a man who trusted animals more than people. He wrapped his coat around her shaking body, lifting her carefully onto his horse. She cried out, pain tearing through her ribs, but he held her steady. "It's okay. You're safe now." Safe. She hadn't heard that word in years. Caleb rode through the desert toward his ranch, whispering reassurance the entire way. He didn't ask questions. He didn't judge. He just stayed. At his cabin, warm light spilled through dusty windows, and he laid her gently on his bed, cleaning her wounds with careful hands. Emily flinched at every touch. "Easy," he murmured. "No one's hurting you here." His kindness felt unreal, suspicious, dangerous in its softness. But exhaustion pulled her under, and as she slept, he sat beside her chair all night, shotgun across his lap, guarding a stranger like family. Morning came slowly. Emily woke to the smell of coffee and wood smoke. For a moment, she forgot everything. Then the bruises screamed their reminder. Caleb stood in the doorway, awkward but sincere. "You hungry?" She shook her head, afraid to speak, afraid kindness would disappear. He nodded slowly. "That's okay. Just don't be scared. I'm not going anywhere." Something broke inside her. Tears spilled without permission. She whispered, "Why are you helping me?" Caleb looked down, his jaw tight. "Because someone should have helped my sister once. And nobody did." He turned away, hiding pain behind silence. But Emily saw the truth, and for the first time since the beating, she believed she might survive. Days passed like fragile glass. Caleb never asked questions, but he noticed everything, how she flinched at loud noises, how she hid bruises, how she woke screaming at night. He cooked soup badly, burned toast often, and apologized every time. Emily slowly learned the sounds of the ranch, the creaking barn, the snorting horses, the whispering wind. She watched Caleb speak softly to injured animals, patching them with patience and care. "You talk to horses like people," she said once. He smiled faintly. Animals don't lie. She wondered if people ever told him the truth. One evening, headlights cut across the ranch like knives. A truck stopped at the gate. Emily froze. Her breath disappeared. Caleb saw her panic instantly. "Stay inside." But she knew that truck. It was him. Her abuser stepped out, shouting threats into the night. Caleb walked toward him calmly, boots heavy in the dirt. "You leave," Caleb said quietly, "or you regret it." The man laughed until Caleb didn't move, didn't blink, didn't step back. The desert itself seemed to choose a side. Finally, the truck roared away, swallowed by darkness. Emily collapsed in tears. Caleb didn't say, "I told you so." He just sat beside her, letting her cry. "You're safe," he repeated. "I won't leave you." Weeks later, Emily stood in the barn, brushing a horse. Her hands were steady, her smile returned slowly. "You saved me?" she told Caleb. He shook his head. "No, you saved yourself. I just stayed." She looked at him, seeing loneliness in his eyes. "Then maybe," she whispered, "you don't have to be alone anymore." And for the first time in years, Caleb smiled without sadness. A violent storm hit the ranch one night, tearing fences apart. Horses panicked. Caleb was thrown while rescuing one, badly injured. Emily ran into the rain, screaming his name. She dragged him inside, cleaning his wounds the way he'd once cleaned hers. "Don't die," she cried.
"Please, I won't leave you."
He smiled weakly. "Guess we're even." Months passed. Emily went to court. She faced the man who nearly killed her. Her voice shook, but she spoke. Caleb sat behind her, silent strength. When the verdict came guilty, Emily didn't cry from fear. She cried from freedom. Outside, she hugged Caleb. "You gave me my life back," he whispered. "You gave mine meaning." A year later, the ranch was full of rescued animals and laughter. Emily painted sunsets on old barn walls. Caleb taught her to ride. One evening, under the same stars that once watched her suffer, she held his hand. "You kept your promise," she said. He looked at her softly. "I told you, I won't leave you." The wind moved gently through the fields, carrying their quiet hope across the desert. And for the first time, both of them believed in tomorrow.